Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. Now, I wanted to do a Saturn video. I've wanted to do one for some time, but honestly, I've been quite busy in the last month. I've had quite a lot of work to do, a lot of family stuff, and the kind of weekly news video always takes priority over everything else. But hey, I've got a bit of time now, and I wanted to do another Saturn video. Now, just want to say the last time this the Sega Saturn, the latest unstable core, was actually updated was around a month ago. The build I'm looking at now is the 2nd of July 2023, and the date today is the 7th of August, so over a month. But I wanted to do this because the MiSTer OS, the unstable OS, has been updated a few times, and I think some of the additions or some of the changes made in there are something that benefit this Saturn core. And the reason I say that is because some games that previously didn't work on the same version of the core are kind of working now, so that's something good. Now, so this game is Silhouette Mirage. This kind of hung on me before. It still hangs on me, but a lot further down the game, and it just looks like such a cutesy game. I like how your little witch character fires the shots from her fingertips, and it kind of homes into them as well. So if the enemies are kind of jumping above you and around you, it kind of homes in on them. But this reminds me of like an arcade game. It's a kind of game you play in the arcade, and it's aged really well. Now, if you want to get this core up and running for yourself, make sure you hang about till the end of the video. At the end of the video, I will do a tutorial, and I'll show you how to run it. If you're the kind of person that just does update all and that's all you like doing, fair enough. I get that. It's not that difficult to get running if that's something you want to do. I have separate memory cards because I do a lot of content. I've got separate memory cards specific to certain stuff. I've got a couple of micro SD cards with different unstable builds on there, but if you've only got one micro SD card, it doesn't matter. You just need to kind of change a couple of files, and you can always revert back. It is quite easy, and we'll kind of go through the process, and you see it's not that difficult. So that's one thing I'll say to a lot of people, like, don't be afraid. If this is something you want to check out, and there's some games you want to test out and have some fun with, because there is a lot of fun to be had with this core. A lot of games, the sound starts off working, then it stops working. Like in this game, the sound's completely gone, but it was there at the beginning. You're going to hear it come on just for a second there. But yeah, this is fantastic. Let's have a look at some other games, and now we'll talk through some of the stuff. And one game you guys have requested a number of times is this game here, Primal Rage. Now, my heart was going when I was launching this game, and the reason for that was because it always hung on the character select screen. So here we are loading, and I'm here thinking, is it gonna hang? Is it gonna hang? This is where I got to last time, and guess what? Okay, it takes us in game, and I picked Blizzard because, hey, I thought to myself, I'm not very familiar with this game. I remember seeing this in the arcade, and I remember being wooed by it. I never thought it was that much of a good game, but after you played Dino Rex, you really do appreciate this. But I picked Blizzard thinking, hey, you know, he's a humanoid type ape, kind of, what, he's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and he's standing like a man, and maybe he's gonna have a fireball and a dragon punch, but he didn't. I didn't quite work out the moves, but I do think this game is a decent game because I saw some combo videos on this in a tournament that was being held, and it kind of opened my eyes to this game. So I know people previously spoke about Primal Rage. I did try it a few times. Even on this build, it didn't work on the previous occasion, but it does work now. And guys, it looks really good. I'm kind of looking forward to when this core is complete and we can play it. It'll be nice to get the Primal Rage arcade core as well. But I guess when the Saturn core matures, we can have some Primal Rage on the Saturn. Now, I'm not expert enough to know how much better or worse this is than the actual arcade version. But I do remember when the arcade version came out, being there as a kid in central London in the Trocadero on a big screen and watching this. Honestly, it was a magical experience to see new arcade games, but it's really nice to see this working on the Saturn now. And guys, it's no secret, I am a big Castlevania fan. I tried all 4 different versions, the hacked version, the vanilla version, the translated version. I tried them, and guys, you know what? It still just crashes for me. As soon as I go to character select and I pick my character, black screen. I just wanted to put that in there because I love Castlevania. Batsugun. So this is a hack. This is like the Saturn tribute. So I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if this was the actual release, because I've got like a Saturn tribute version for the Nintendo Switch, which I played, and it's actually really good. But here we are, we're playing Batsugun on the Saturn, and guys, like, this plays and feels really well. The controls are responsive. It feels every bit as good as a good shmup. Now, there's no sound effects. I've got the soundtrack, I've got the background music. It's working, it sounds well. This game plays, it feels really well. I mean, you can enjoy it as long as you can get past the part of, hey, you haven't got any the kind of explosion and the bullet sound effects, but you have got the music in here, and it plays really well. I had fun playing this. I actually played this for quite some time for the video before I decided, you know what, I need to kind of stop and move on and film some other games. But Batsugun is looking good on the Saturn Core, the latest version. Well, there's a few different Capcom collections. There's like platformy ones, shmup ones, beat 'em up ones. So I did check out some of those, and this one here had ghouls and ghosts on there. And I checked it out, and this just works really well. The intro's there, the game's in, guys. This is every bit as hard as I remember. Now, some of the loading times can appear to be quite long, but they're not unreasonably long. They're not like the Neo Geo CD loading times before full-time speed came in, because now with a full-time speed, the Neo Geo CD core is an awesome core. I recommend you guys checking that out as well. I did a live stream on that a few days ago, and I had a lot of fun. In fact, I'm going to do a live stream of the Saturn Core where you can look at my games list, and you can ask me which ones you want to see playing in real time. But this plays really well. Like, this is a classic game. I know we've got different ways of playing this. We've got the arcade core. There's a lot of different ways. We've got the SNES version as well, but it's nice to see this on the Sega Saturn as part of a compilation. It's running nicely, it plays nice, and yeah, it's the game. It's the famous game where you lose your armor and all you're wearing underneath your armor is some shorts with some hearts on there. Well, I guess it makes sense because you are going after your sweetheart. And if you're going to impress your sweethearts, you want some hearts on your underwear. Anyway, I've ranted on enough. Let's move on to another game. And I always like checking this game out, man. Like, I just like it. And one of the reasons I check it out again and again is because the kind of sound starts, and then as you kind of play the game, the background sound has completely gone, and we still got the sound effects. And that's what you get with the Sega Saturn Core. Some games you play, you kind of start off with sound, and then you notice either the sound effects go, the background sound remains, or vice versa. But this is a fun game. I really do like this game. And when the core is fully released and it's mature like the PlayStation Core, this is one of the games I intend to play and kind of go through. It is just so much fun. It has the Street Fighter controls, free punches, free kicks, and I'm using the 8-bit though M30 controller, the new one, the white one, and it just plays so nice. You've got your 3 buttons at the top, 3 buttons at the bottom, which makes it really feel like, well, not really an arcade stick, but you've got arcade buttons, the free and free, but you're using a controller. But this game's a lot of fun, and even in its current state, it's fully playable. It doesn't crash on me. I can keep going through it. I just switch it off because I feel, okay, I've got enough footage for this particular video. But if you like Golden Axe, you'll like it. You've got like the little thieves running at the bottom. You can hit them and get potions. Haven't quite worked out the supers and everything in here yet. Maybe I should consult a guide, but this is a really good game, and it's nice it's nice to play on the Sega Saturn Core, even in its current state. Okay guys, guilty. I've done a lot of fighting games in this video. I guess as I was going through the list, I was testing them out. But remember guys, like, definitely tune into the live stream in a day or two, or as soon as I can do it, where I will take your requests real time and we can test those out. So this game works well as far as playing it goes. It starts, you get some of the background music, the background music goes, then you're left with the sound effects. The sound effects actually remain for a period of time, and they kind of go as well, and then it turns into a silent game. So, you know, if you did want to play it, you can play it, but the kind of sound effects and the background music goes. But this is a good game. Again, Night Warriors, Darkstalker's Revenge, Vampire Savior. It's known by a few different names, but this is, I think, the first one in the series, and this is quite a blast of a game. Definitely check it out. And guys, here we are with a bit of Road Rage. So it wasn't all fighting games, but you know what? This is a motorbike game with some fighting in there. Absolutely loved Road Rage 1 and Road Rage 2 on the Mega Drive. This is actually, I think, the first time I'm checking it out on the Saturn, but this ran without issue. I completed a couple of races. Now, it's been a while since I played the Mega Drive version, but I was trying to like move it down and attack. And you know, if you keep your finger on it, you kind of keep, it's like you've got your leg in position ready to kick. You can't do it in this one. He was just kind of kicking. But surprisingly, like, this game felt good. Like, I wasn't sure what the newer Road Rashes were like. For me, they kind of always began and stopped on the Mega Drive. Now, there was some sound for this game, but I had to turn it down because when I launched this game, yes, I heard Chris Cornell's voice, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he was the front man, the lead singer of a band called Soundgarden that I kind of listened to. Not one of my favorite bands, but the guy is a talented singer. So I turned the sound down completely, just to kind of avoid any kind of copyright issues or anything like that on the channel. I try and be as careful as I can, but sometimes stuff seeps through. But I did recognize Chris Cornell's voice straight away, and this is quite a fun game. If you're trying out the Saturn Core, then try this game out. Let me know what you kind of think of it. But honestly, like, I had fun playing this. I think this is a good version of Road Rash. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it's bad, maybe it reviewed bad, but hey, I never pay attention to reviews. If I like something when I play it, I like it. And over there we just saw a pedestrian about to cross the road. Pretty neat, huh? So here's a game called, I think it's pronounced Shine Ryu or Shin Ryu, something like that. Not like Ryu in his super, you know, his Shin Shoryuken, but, and yeah, something is up with it. Maybe there's an option here to kind of change the screen orientation, and it's supposed to be played in Tate mode, but it's not. It hasn't got that kind of long screen. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I wanted to kind of show this because it looks like a decent shmup. I don't know much about it. It was probably in the arcade. I don't know much about it. Like I said, if you do know something about it, then hit me up in the comments below. But as you can see, like, where it says the score is kind of like in the middle of the screen, out of place. And this is definitely a vertical shmup, but it's kind of showing horizontal. But yeah, I just wanted to show this because this is how it loaded for me. It could just be maybe there's an option or something to toggle it the right way up. An interesting title that I came across. It's always nice to find a new old game. So this is Stream Game Mash, and this is running really well. Like, I never played the original, so I don't know what it's like, but I had a lot of fun playing this. So this is an isometric game, but guys, I usually have difficulties with isometric games. It's been a long time since I've really played one, and I always end up getting the direction on the D-pad corresponding to the direction I'm moving in a little bit wrong. But this game just felt good. I like this game. Now, it's in Japanese, and I ended up getting to a part where I think I needed to read some text, like that bit there, and I didn't quite understand what was going on. But this is a fun game. I like your character in there. He's like a mashup between Bomberman and Kirby or something. But honestly, this is a fun game. But guys, this kind of wraps up the video. If you want to watch the tutorial to see how you can get this up and running on your MiSTer, then stick around. If you know what you're doing, or you've already got this on your MiSTer, or you're not interested in putting this on your MiSTer, and that's the end of the video for you. But like I said, guys, if you want to get this up and running, stick around, and we'll get this up and running on your MiSTer. So guys, if you are still here on this part of the video, you want to know how to get it up and running. And guys, it is very simple. So first thing you want to do is head over to the MiSTer FPGA Discord. If you're not already a member, I'll leave an invite link in the description of the video, so check that out. And guys, like I always say, if you go over through the invite link that I sent you, just be nice and cool over there, and just listen to what the mods or admins are saying and adhere to the rules and be kind. And hey guys, if you're there because of me, then ping me and just say hello. I love it when you guys say hello. If I don't respond straight away, know that I'm busy with things in life, but I will always respond. So the latest build, like I said at the beginning of the video, was on the 2nd of July. Now, depending on the build that you have, the vast majority of you, myself included, will have the single SD-RAM version. So let's go ahead and download that. So it's this one over here, marked the 2nd of July 2023, uploaded at 12:37 p.m. At least that's my time. It might be different for you. So let's go ahead and download that. Okay, that's downloading. And on the same channel, so on the Unstable Nightlies, as you can see over here under feed and test builds, that's the one that we want. And the same one here, I've just kind of got it. So I've got it open in another tab, but it's exactly the same channel again, Unstable Nightlies. So we've got the Saturn Core that I pointed out there. And at the very bottom, at least at the moment, at the time of shooting this video, let's grab the latest unstable build of the MiSTer OS. Here we go. Okay, so now that we've downloaded that, so that's 2 files that we've downloaded. They'll be super quick to download. They're not big files. As you can see, the Sega Saturn Core is 4.4 megabytes and the MiSTer Unstable build is less than a megabyte. So let's minimize these. Now over here on the left hand side is my downloads folder, and on the right hand side is the root of my MiSTer SD card. Now I'm going over this via a network, but you can just slot this in your you can slot the micro SD card if you want to take it out and put it in your PC, or you can go in over the network. If I'm only doing light files, I just go in over the network, and if I'm doing like a whole bunch of games on there, then I'll take out the SD card and I insert it into my PC. And I like doing my tutorials real time because I don't make any mistakes then if I edit everything and put it back together. At least that's the way that I like to do it. So here we are over on our MiSTer. Now here we go. This is the MiSTer operating system, and this is how it needs to be. This is how it needs to be named. Just MiSTer, nothing else, no dot anything after it, just plain old MiSTer. So what you could do is, for example, if you're running your stable builder MiSTer, and that's something you might want to go back to later, just go over here and Windows 11, man, give me extra choices. Okay, so just go over here and then just put maybe OLD at the end of it, and or maybe just call it main. However you want to name it, that's completely up to you. So I've called that MiSTer main. It's not going to run the OS now because it's going to be looking for a file called MiSTer. And this one over here, the MiSTer Unstable, so what we can do, let's just rename that just to MiSTer because that's what it's going to be looking for. So that's the unstable version that we downloaded. And here we are. So we've renamed that as MiSTer. And let's just copy that. I'm dragging that over here, and that'll take a little wee second to copy over, but that's copied over now. So now we have got the latest unstable version of the MiSTer operating system over on the root of our MiSTer SD card. So when we put this on our MiSTer, when we launch, when we switch our MiSTer on and go over to it, we will have the latest version of MiSTer Unstable OS, and that's what we need to run the latest Sega Saturn Unstable Core. So we have the core over here. Let's just copy that. Again, really dislike this Windows 11 stuff, but hey, I'm using it. Maybe there's a way to make it look a bit more like Windows 10. So now the core over here, you want to go over, when you're on the root of your SD card, go over to consoles, and you're going to see a whole bunch of RBF files here. I'm just going to paste it in here. It's going to ask me if I want to overwrite it, which, yeah, because I've already got it on there. But for the sake of the video, let's just overwrite it. If you don't have it on there, then cool, it will just copy on there. But there you go, we've got it on here, and that's the Sega Saturn Unstable Core that you saw. That's the one that we're using on this video. So that's it, we're almost ready to go. So let's just go back out to the root of the micro SD card. There's a couple of other things I want to show you. One of them would be games. So games, so the games, head over to your games folder now, and let's just go over to S and go over to Saturn. Now if you don't have a Saturn folder created within your games folder, then just go ahead and create a new folder, call it Saturn. Now, I'm not sure if it's case sensitive, but maybe if you copy it exactly the way that I do it, you will have great success. But Saturn, use a capital S there, and here we go. Now, one thing I want to point out, add your BIOS file in here. I want to send a special thank you out to someone over on Discord that helped me with the BIOS. Can't remember their username because they just had a chili pepper emoji there. So Mr., Mrs., they, them, whatever, chili pepper, thank you very much. So whatever BIOS you get, I'm using a region free. That's what they kind of helped me with, a region free BIOS. So I don't have to pick my region any longer. I don't have to change the region. It just automatically does it. But whatever BIOS you use, add it to the folder, to the games Saturn folder, and call it boot.bin, not boot.rom. That's how a lot of them are called. At least in this build, you want to call it boot.bin. Make sure that's in the games folder. And the games, I've got plenty here. When I do a live stream, you guys can request any of these games that you want to see. Who knows, maybe by then I'll have a few more, but I've got quite a bunch of games there. I think 170 games, which is quite an amount. So let's just have a look at the format of the games in the folder. But here you go, we've got the .q and the .bin files, and that's the format of the games that I'm using. And once you've got everything in there, when you launch up your MiSTer, you can just go over to the Saturn Core and we'll have a look at it, because this version of the Core, you have to do it a certain way. So let's just kind of go over to the MiSTer and have a look at how to actually launch everything. So guys, now that we are over on our MiSTers, what we want to do is head over to console. You're going to see the Saturn Core there. So I'll go there, go down to S. There you go, Saturn single SD RAM, the one that we placed on there. There's a couple of things that I want to point out once we get the Core up and running. So first of all, bring the menu up. Now I've got it set to a button on my controller, but here we go. Once you bring the menu up, the first thing you want to do is load up the BIOS. Yeah, the BIOS for me is at the very bottom, the boot. You need to load the BIOS separately, and once you load it, that's pretty much it. You can keep loading different games, and as I've got a region free BIOS, I don't have to change the region like we did on previous ones. And another thing, once you load a game, we're gonna boot up Quake, because yeah, I just wanted to kind of check. It felt very, very dark. See that error message at the top, CD BIOS not found? That comes up every time you load a game. Just ignore it. It has found the BIOS, but for some reason it's up there. And when I started playing this, it kind of spooked me out a bit. I was like, oh, what's going on? And I think like I kept turning it off and trying it until I found out that message just pops up every single time. Maybe with an update that will get removed. Really looking forward to an update coming to this. Like I say, it's always nice to get an update and also to find out that SRG 320 is actually doing okay. But that's really it for this video, guys. I hope you found it entertaining and helpful. Hope the tutorial helped you guys out. If it did, then a subscription, a like, all that good stuff is super appreciated. But that's it. The Saturn Core in its current state is very, very enjoyable. It does have its issues with sounds and compatibility, but compared to where we were like months ago, it really is making progress, and I just can't wait to see what the next update will bring us. But that's really it, guys. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.